A high-stakes G7 summit and global turmoil. President Trump arriving in France this morning for the gathering of world leaders amid global disputes that are threatening unity between allies. Over the next 3 days, leaders will discuss everything from trade and economic issues to climate change and the ongoing tension with Iran and North Korea. But before departing for the summit, President Trump set the stage for conflict by vowing to escalate a trade war with China and threatening to hit France with a tariff on wine.
Our preference is to resolve this issue peacefully, and we've extended the hand of diplomacy. Yet, for many years, Iran's been unwilling to meet its obligations to the international community. So my administration worked with Congress, the United Nations Security Council, and countries around the world to impose unprecedented sanctions on the Iranian government.
Senior White House correspondent Pamela Brown joins us now from southern France. So, Pam, Trump and Macron have already met this morning over lunch. What more can you tell us about any further discussions and maybe even a comment or two in response to what the president is talking about, threatening these tariffs on wine?
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting because just before leaving Washington, the president had those stern words for President Macron, saying that he will impose a tariff on French wine and perhaps other French goods in response to the digital tax. But today, during the lunch between President Macron and President Trump, there was an exchange of pleasantries. The president seemed to put a positive spin on things, calling Macron his friend. He didn't make mention of the digital tax at all, though he did sort of reference and hint at some of the disagreements that lie beneath the surface on some of these key issues that the G7 is really all about. That would be, a climate change, on trade, on Iran. So we'll have to wait and see what came out of that lunch. But here's what the two leaders said at the very beginning.
Democracy and free markets and international law and international norms. And so for us to be able to get together and focus on critical issues that not only affect individual countries but affect the international order, I think is vitally important. And we very much appreciate the work the Japanese and Prime Minister Abe have done in organizing an excellent meeting. So far we've discussed issues of the global economy and the need to continue to accelerate growth, to use all the tools at our disposal to make sure that we're
Now, one of the key issues for President Macron is climate change. He's been very focused on the wildfires in the Amazon. It's unclear, though, how receptive President Trump will be. After all, last year during the G7, he skipped the summit on climate. He is really coming into this weekend with the economy top of mind. And we've learned from a White House official that the president spoke over the phone with the new British Prime Minister Boris Johnson yesterday. The two leaders are expected to meet face-to-face sometime over the summit. Of course, there's a lot to discuss there. As Brexit looms, Boris Johnson is looking for the support from President Trump as it appears the UK is headed toward a no-deal Brexit. Now, tomorrow morning, there is this economic summit that the president pushed for, and you can imagine that some of the G7 leaders will be bringing up the trade war with China that escalated just yesterday with both sides slapping tariffs on one another. Some of these leaders here believe that the president's trade war is contributing to the overall global economic slowdown, and sources have been speaking with about what to expect from this G7 summit. They're downplaying expectations, saying don't expect anything groundbreaking. Back to you.
Right, and that being underscored by the tweet coming from the French president saying, the G7 Biarritz has begun. We may not accomplish everything we've set out to, but we'll do our best to be effective to ensure your security, create more jobs, and fight the inequality that you are suffering. So expectations low. Pamela Brown, thank you so much.